G. Willikers here, and welcome back to the Holy Land. Today we are visiting one of the most remarkable places in all of Israel, Capernaum, on the peaceful northern shore of the Sea of Galilee. Although Jesus was born in Bethlehem and raised in Nazareth, the Gospels tell us that Capernaum became his home during much of his public ministry. If there was ever a place that could be called Jesus' headquarters on earth, this was it. It is hard to imagine that this quiet fishing village was once filled with crowds pressing in to hear Jesus teach, the sick begging to be healed, and the disciples following closely behind as they witnessed miracle after miracle. We are now standing before what is traditionally identified as the house of Simon Peter. Looking at these rough black basalt stones, you might wonder why this simple structure has become one of Christianity's most treasured archaeological sites. After all, it isn't a palace, it isn't a cathedral. It was simply the home of a fisherman. Yet, that may be exactly the point. God has always delighted in working through ordinary people in ordinary places. Peter was not a scholar or a wealthy ruler. He was a man who made his living casting nets into the Sea of Galilee. But when he answered Christ's call, his ordinary home became the setting for extraordinary events. The Gospel of Mark tells us that after teaching in the synagogue, Jesus entered Simon Peter's house and healed Peter's mother-in-law, who was suffering from a fever. By evening, the entire town had gathered outside this very doorway, bringing the sick and those possessed by demons, and Jesus healed many of them. For centuries, Christians preserved the memory of this location. Then archaeology began confirming what tradition had long maintained. Excavations revealed that this particular house was unlike all the others around it. One room had been enlarged to accommodate gatherings. The walls contained ancient Christian graffiti, crosses, prayers, and invocations of Christ. Unlike neighboring homes, this building stopped being used as an ordinary residence very early and instead became a meeting place for believers, a church. Within only a generation or two after Jesus walked these streets, Christians were already honoring this house because of its connection with Peter and with Christ himself. Later, during the Byzantine period in the 5th century, believers built a beautiful octagonal church directly over Peter's home. Instead of destroying the house, they carefully enclosed and protected it beneath the church floor so future generations could remember what had happened here. The modern Catholic Church continues that tradition in a fascinating way. It stands on pillars above the ancient ruins, almost appearing to float in the air. Inside, a large glass floor allows visitors to look straight down onto the original remains of Peter's house beneath their feet. It's a beautiful reminder that every generation builds upon the faith of those who came before. It's amazing how close Peter's house is to the synagogue. It's literally next door. The impressive white limestone synagogue you see today dates mainly from the 4th century, but it was built upon the foundations of the earlier synagogue where Jesus taught. Picture Peter walking only a few steps from his front door, alongside Jesus, into the synagogue, listening as Christ explained the scriptures with an authority no one had ever heard before. These familiar streets witnessed some of the greatest moments recorded in the Gospels. Here, Jesus healed the paralytic, lowered through the roof by his faithful friends. Here, he called Matthew the tax collector to follow him. Here he cast out unclean spirits, healed countless diseases, and demonstrated that the kingdom of God had come near. It is no wonder that Capernaum has been called the town of Jesus. As I stand here today, I find myself asking a simple question. Peter opened his home to Christ. Have I? Most of us will never preach to thousands or perform mighty works, but every one of us can invite Christ into our homes, our families, and our hearts. The greatest transformation doesn't happen because a house is made of special stones. It happens because Christ is welcomed inside. These ancient ruins cannot create faith. Stones never saved anyone, but they do remind us that our faith is wonderfully rooted in history. Jesus walked real roads, entered real homes, taught in real synagogues, and changed real lives. Standing here makes the Gospels come alive in a way that is difficult to describe. It's overwhelming. As we leave Capernaum, I won't simply remember another archaeological site. I'll remember that God entered an ordinary fishing village, chose ordinary people, and through them changed the course of human history. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson Peter's humble house still teaches us today, that when Christ is welcomed into an ordinary life, extraordinary things can happen. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time as our journey through the Holy Land continues.